Harambee! Na serikali yetu tukufu harambee! After 60 years of independence, the political landscape in Kenya has been characterized by the same type of leadership year in, year out. One that is arguably corrupt and focuses on the interests of mwenyenchi rather than the common mwananchi. But in recent years, a new generation that seems to want change has against all odds influenced decision-making in the country, contributing to significant milestones, including the withdrawal of the 2024 Finance Bill. But what exactly do they want? What is their aim? This is the take of the Gen Z. With over 75% of Kenya's population under the age of 35, the future of the country lies in the hands of a generation that is tech-savvy, socially aware, and deeply engaged with the world around them.
The numbers can change if Gen Zs are willing to take governance in a serious way. But if Gen Zs have negligence on this, they'll be used badly, and most of them will not even go to vote because most of them have that thing in them where they believe leaders are elected to be corrupt and make their own lives and not to go and do what they are elected to do.
The young generation has got numbers, and you can even test it by your own statistics. And when you see, like, for instance, the last time we had Maandamano, you saw all the youths were united as one. Walitokea kote nchi nzima. Not only Nairobi, not only Mombasa. It was countrywide. Even those countries, those vulnerable countries kama Turkana, kama West Pokot, walienda streets and they were there. Hawajuangi nini inaendelea kwa finance bill, but they were there. So I can tell you we have numbers. Yeah. And we have powers.
With the big stake in numbers, we have them, and we are at a good verge of winning those numbers and taking political seats from that point of view.
In this globalized world, Kenyan youths have actively used social media as their main weapon in fighting bad governance. Platforms such as X, formerly Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok are not only used for entertainment purposes, but to also push for change and make their voices heard.
The young generation has so much power because, you see, in the long time, we did not have these social media platforms. We only had, let's say, Facebook, which wasn't that engaging. But right now, many Gen Zs can be able to, maybe, let's say, through the coming on TikTok with the live shows, they can be able to meet there, and it's easier for them to discuss. So you see, with that, there is so much power with the discussion through the phones.
We are at a very good position because most of us who are youths, and as I said earlier, the 65% of us, all of us are on social media. That is, more than 90% of us are on social media. So if you have an agenda that we want to propel and tell each other, it is easy for us to take that to social media.
Through social media, most people go through social media. So that's how people can mobilize each other in. If, for instance, if there is something that's going to happen, okay, for instance, let's give an example of Shira. If something happened to Shira, you knew through social media, right? So if there is something supposed to be raised to people or to be communicated to people, social media is the only platform, the only way I think people can get information quick, fast and clear.
Social media platform really helps because when it comes to maybe when government advocates for anything, they use social media platforms. Youths, when they want something, they demand it through social media platforms. Because you cannot take maybe a flight ama upande gari useme unaenda Nairobi kumwambia rais ya kwamba kuna kitu imefanyika. You can just go there to Twitter, you post, and you say that this is not right, this is wrong. Or umeona ofisi fulani imefanya kitu fulani, you just post. So that's why I'm telling you, social media platforms inasaidia sana.
With social media, one can be able to see what is happening, what happened, and what is being planned to happen. And one can actually use social media to trace back if what was promised is actually happening.
For the Gen Zs, the political landscape is not just about leadership. It is about accountability, opportunities, and fairness. To them, the issues that matters most are unemployment, access to quality education, healthcare, and battling corruption.
Accountability comes in by, first of all, organizing ourselves and electing the best leaders we can elect today. And that can't happen when we have gone out, and the best thing we can ever do it is to elect leaders based on the amount of money they give back into our pockets. So if somebody gave you 100,000 and he goes to power, there is no way that person can be accountable. Instead, he'll be a corrupt person to recover back the money that he took to power. So whenever you would expect me to say something about accountability, I'll say let's first of all, as young people, as Gen Zs, as people of this country, take responsibility. Then let's be accountable on the kind of voting we're going to take to do this time around in come 2027. Let's take responsibility in whoever we're going to siphon money from in the name of campaigning. Let's take responsibility in what we're going to spread as propaganda, and that's going to begin by us as young people.
Government positions are given to friends and not people who are qualified. I think that's what the current regime has highly failed. Giving position to friends rather than giving positions to qualified personnel. With this, services cannot be offered. In fact, just telling you the truth, with the current regime, officials appointed by the president are just there as public figures. They're not there to do their work because the president decides everything. It is hard from other sources that the president says everything and does everything by himself. And these positions are just given to people just to stay on papers, nothing else. They are not working. So there's no fairness, there's nothing. You can't tell me that people are appointed to do work and they are just there, old people. You cannot do nothing and be employed as an ICT official. How is that possible? What's your work there?
I'm looking at the content, the issues the Gen Zs were raising. And if I look at the issues they were raising, like the issue to do with the economy, and I'm part of the economy, I'm part of the people, I'm also a human being, I'm also facing the high economy in our country in terms of products and services. Actually, the economy is not good. Pesa hakuna, you know. If that was one of the issues these guys were behind, them being on the demonstrations. So to me, I say that is okay.
Yeah, iko accountable. As in vitu wanasema, okay, tumetenga pesa fulani. Like hii story ya HELB. Actually mseka mimi HELB yangu bana sikumbuki last ilikuwa updated pale, wameniambia sijui iko allocated kidogo hivi, disbursed to account yangu iko 0. Kama sasa bana nimesota hizo. Actually hii gava iko accountable.
As the political temperature in the country keeps on rising, the Gen Zs believe that they are going to change the trajectory of Kenyan election by electing quality leaders based on their characters and qualification. Some maintain their slogan of being tribeless, while others seem to differ from that.
Okay, qualification is something that really matters. It really matters a lot. I cannot take you to an engineering field and yet you're doing a journalism field. You're not going to do that thing with perfection, or it's just going to be something that is forceful. That's why you see most of the leaders, they are not doing their work because they are not qualified on whatever they went and took and did. They are not qualified for that. They just went there because of connection or corruption.
It's high time for us youth tujitokeze, because tutaongozwa na wazee sawa, but hawatafanya vitu vile sisi tunataka wafanye. At first I told you that we like inclusivity. It's our time as Gen Zs to stand up and say that we want these positions. It's ours. We have numbers. Definitely we have numbers. And we have more than 1,000 willing Gen Zs, willing youths to vie for any post in this country. And I can even, for me, I can even stand out and tell students to stand for even MCS in their local homes, because it is now valid. And hakuna mali kwa constitution ya Kenya ni sheria ya kwamba youth hafai kusimama. It is not that. Ni ile tu, we normally say that hii kiti ni mambo yenyewe tunawaachia. But for now, they'll have it rough. We are coming.
There is no way we will expect as young people, because a number of us, not even a number of us, all of us in colleges are young people. So there is no way we will ever expect that we will reflect a different picture out there in the country politics if we don't reflect that picture in our institutions. So let it begin from ourselves. We all know that when we start campaigning, we can be friends with whoever we can be friends with the best leaders all over. But when it comes to the day of elections, people will go to the ethnical groups and they'll speak of what they'll speak. And everybody will align what their tribal will request them to do. Let's go back to our villages. Let's see what kind of politics we play in our villages. You see, when people are electing MCAs in the villages, people elect MCAs based on the houses they come from. If somebody comes from a house that is well known, somebody comes from a house that is well respected, somebody comes from a house that is with a lot of people, that person is at verge of garnering a lot of votes. So if it's all about arguing on whoever we will elect based on tribal matters, we will first begin by telling ourselves, let's kill this tribal thing from our colleges. Let's kill it within our colleges first before we take it outside there. Because before we go out there to vie for MCA seats, before we go out there to vie for members of parliament seats, we begin from our colleges. And if we practice tribalism within our colleges, how are we expected to take different picture out there?
Yeah, bado ataendelea tu na hiyo story. Hiyo tribalism bado ataendelea nayo. Hiyo famous. Unajua sasa mimi nikienda tuseme ingekuwa actually napiga kura yangu Nairobi. Alafu tuseme mtu kama Babu Owino asimame eti anataka governor Nairobi. Actually mbona nisipatie Babu Owino? Yeah, nitampatia juu ni famous.
While the country's political scene remains dominated by older figures, the question remains, is Gen Z truly represented in Kenya's political institutions?
I think they are elderly. They don't know what the youths need right now. Each time we grow, we come into another generation. So they don't know what we really need. And they always don't get the time to listen to what we need. They do as to what they think it's right according to them, not according to what will help us or will benefit us as Gen Zs. Yeah.
You see, there are things that an old man can see while he's seated, right? And there are things you, as a young man, you cannot see while even standing. So it is good now we don't ignore one another. It is good now we bring each other and see what you can bring on the table. So let the elder generation at least give three quarters of power to the youth. But we are saying we can still give you that quota. You can still be given that quota, but we cannot eliminate the aged leadership at all.
So what does the future hold for Kenyan politics through the eyes of a Gen Z?
The future is still existence if we go back and fight for what is ourselves. But if we don't sit down and as young people and rethink about strategies and structure ourselves again on what we're going to do, most of us, those who appeared to be in the light last year, those people will get absorbed into political parties. They'll be given ghost positions, like Kasmuel was given a ghost position in ODM. You'll never hear about that man again.
It's not certain because with corruption, as I said, we as Gen Z might vote for a good leader, but corruption from upside there, they will always use money. You know, everything is money right now. So I think it is halfway. It is in a better way and also in the worst way. It's really not predictable.
If we have good governance, then all our futures are protected. So first of all, we need to have a good governance so that we can think of a better future. We cannot have a better future in minds, yet we still have bad governance.
The future of Kenyan politics may very well rest in the hands of its young people. With their passion, energy and drive, the Gen Zs are not waiting for change to come. They are making it happen. The question is not if they will change the system, but when will they change the system?